live with Margine. Welcome to you, whoever is joining us. A big hello from the US, but also from Athens, Greece. We are connected, no matter how far we are. So, welcome, Margine. It's really a
Thank
joy to
you.
have you here with me today. Margine has been my personal mentor, trainer. I met her in her event, coaching me over the years. And you cannot imagine how delighted I am to have her here with me. Margine is a transformational trainer. And also, may I say, she is a Hollywood actor. She's an
Ooh,
author, speaker on international stages, and lead healer in amazing retreats, and we are already planning a few things for next year. And I'm so proud to be able to welcome her here with me today on one of my first lives as a host. So, welcome,
yes.
Margine.
Thank you. What a beautiful introduction, Christina. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I'm really, really excited to be here to share what I know about speaking and then answer any questions and anything else. So just want to say hi to everybody who's tuning in. There's Sophie Ann. Hello, how are you?
Beautiful. Awesome. So I'll give you a little bit of a background of how I met Margine. Actually, we met in exotic Singapore when I was attending an event, which I was not supposed to be there, but my heart already knew that I had to be there. And she knows the story behind how it all happened. I managed to manipulate the hostem somehow. It wasn't planned. And I ended up in one of her courses, and that's how we met. And she changed my life. And after that, I attended 3 more personal development events with Margine, and I have crewed for her, meaning I have volunteered to support her as part of her staff and crew team around the world, namely Malaysia and Spain. And I want to basically ask Margine, as we met in the personal development space, how did you get into the personal development space?
Well, let's see. It goes back to 1980, 89. I was living in Los Angeles. Hi to everybody who's just joined us here on the stream. And don't ask me why. Like, I'm going to segue real quick. There's a post that says that my Facebook page has paired like an old campaign from somebody. I'm like, I don't know how to unpair it. So just bear with me on that one. So, yes, great to see you again, too. Thank you, Christina. So I got into, like, I was always interested in making myself the best me I could be ever since I was really young. And I always knew that there were energies at play. I always knew there was something different, there was something more than what I could see. I knew there was another realm of per se magic or how to pursue your goals, how to actually, get there and set out a plan per se, right? And I always wanted to have that internal mechanism within myself to be the best me I could be. I was going into the film industry, so I needed to have something besides the film industry to ground me. So I
Mm,
decided that personal development was going to be it. And I got introduced to Warner Earhart's Landmark Forum. It was huge in LA back in the 80s, right?
mhm.
80s and 90s. So
Wow.
for me, yeah.
Mm,
So 1989 was my first introduction to a structured personal development course as opposed to just reading a book on, spiritual economics or something like that, like Eric Butterworth. Or some of my favorite books are Florence Scovel Shinn books, which was The Game of Life and How to Play It. And then all of these other books that she wrote. They were just little, 100-page books, super powerful, right?
mm,
So that's how I got in. And from there, I thought, oh, if I can just cut through my own stuff, if I can cut through my old programming, how I operate, and just really take a good hard look at myself,
mhm,
that I was going to be a better me in the film industry. I was going to be able to stay grounded. Now, mind you, there were parts where, times when I fell down and had, low self-esteem or my confidence wasn't there. Those were things I had to work on constantly because in the film industry, the most heard word that an actor hears is no. So I had to have something to help keep myself going when I kept hearing no, because you hear no so many times. So personal development was how I, kind of stayed sane.
Thank you.
Mhm. Nope, I don't know if the stream kind of froze. I don't know if anyone can hear me. Can you hear me? Pop something in
Yeah,
the There we go.
I apologize. We're
No.
back. We're back.
No.
Thank you. So, absolutely. And I think that reminds me a little bit of my journey. When I started in business, then I realized I need to really, put the fifth gear on my personal development, because if I was going to survive here, then I needed to be able to step up. And I think
Mhm.
that's a
Wow.
beautiful way to go into how I've seen you. I only know you for 7 years, which seems like a lifetime to me in the last few years of my life as a businesswoman as
Right.
well. But I've seen some majestic transformations and reinventions from your side, and you have been working in different industries. I mean, from acting to writing to being a speaker to being a trainer to being a healer. So would you like to focus on one that still resonates with you and tell us how you navigated it, and how do you bring that wisdom now in this stage of your life here with us today?
So I think, being that Hi, George. Thanks for joining us. Um, when I stepped onto stage, I had a moment where, it's very different being on screen. I've co-starred, guest starred, or um, starred in over 40 different films, television shows, and commercials in my career, and worked with some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. I worked with Sylvester Stallone. I worked with, Will Smith. I worked with Bruce Willis. So when you go from being on camera, where you're used to having a script handed to you, and you learn your lines and you perform with another actor, or sometimes you're just doing a monologue by yourself. But there's the fourth wall, which is the camera, and the audience is behind that wall. So when I moved from being in front of the camera to being on stage, it was a very different transition for me because it was like I had to learn a whole new set of skills, a whole new dynamic. Because just because somebody's an actor doesn't mean they're very comfortable on stage. So I don't know. Can you guys still see me? I don't know if we're still streaming, if I'm still streaming without Christina. So anyone out there? Oh, she's got connection issues. We'll get it going on here. All right. So if anyone can you still hear me? Yes. Oh, okay. I'm streaming without her. So I'll keep talking until she comes back in. It's very different. Like I said, it's very, very different moving from being in front of the camera where you're not interacting with the audience like I'm on interacting now, right? It's becomes a point where you have to learn how to interact with people in the moment, right now, and be comfortable with that. And when I first started on stage, I didn't have a whole lot of guidance. I didn't have, um, I had people that I could watch. I had people that I was consistently working with who were trainers. My mentor, I was his assistant to help set up the stage, but I hadn't been on stage yet. And my first experience of being on stage, and now that I look back, I've trained all over the world. I've trained different audiences. I've trained different thank you. Thank you so much, for letting me know I'm still loud and clear. So, when I started working with different cultures, I realized there are some cultures, some audiences that are going to be a little bit different than others. You have to learn how their culture operates. What's acceptable? What words are used? What do they find funny? What do they find offensive? Right? And really look at that. Okay. So when I first started on stage, this is how my first experience went. I was working at an event and I was the hi Christina. um,
Hello.
I'm telling I'm telling about my very first experience on stage. So I was working at this event and I was on the crew. So I wasn't on stage on the stage crew. I was on the crew, and I was setting the stage. And we didn't have back then, we didn't have assistant trainers, we didn't have a warm up person. It was just kind of like anyone and everybody, right? And I had never done that before. Nobody had any guidance. And they said, "Oh, you're going to do some of the warm ups." And I was like, "What do you mean I'm doing the warm ups? What am I supposed to do?" And they're like, "Oh, just get on there and do it." And I said, "You know, I'm not quite sure I want to do this because I am what I consider to be one of the toughest audiences I have ever worked with."
Mhm.
It was in New York. So, New York is a culture all unto itself.
Mm,
So, I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to actually break this barrier?
mm,
And right before I went on stage, the trainer said to me, "Are you okay? Are you nervous?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm nervous." I said, but at that time they gave us little tools and tricks, but I raised my right hand because we used to always do this when somebody was nervous. You raise your right hand, you pat yourself on the back and say, "And that's okay because I'm growing." So everybody remember, if you get to a point where sometime you might be nervous or you might be scared about something, that's just an internal indication that you are growing. So pat yourself on the back and say, "That's okay. I'm growing." Give yourself some accolades for, "Ah, I'm growing. I'm growing." And from that moment on, I knew that I was going to find a home on stage, on
mm,
that kind of stage, because I had always wanted to be on the acting stage, but I wanted to use my acting to influence people in a positive way. I wanted to be able to transform people's lives, even though I didn't know it back then. I wanted to make a difference. I guess
mhm.
that's the simplest term that I can use is I wanted to make a difference. And I found with all of my acting work, all of my stunt work, I did a television series where I played a mercenary and I was running around in the jungle kicking bad guys' asses. Oops, can you say that on live stream? Um, and
Yes,
it
you can.
and I would get mail, I'd get fan mail from people saying, "Oh my God, I love your outfit." It wasn't really the transformation I was looking for. So when I found personal development and found this stage, I was like, this is it. Live energy. Get people in a room. Help them. Move them through whatever is blocking them from the thing that they say they want.
Yeah. And it's that connection, isn't it? Because when it's okay being on a movie and being on a recorded format and entering people's lives and making a change, and having a nice outfit, it can transform people's lives. But
Mhm.
I think when I met Margine on stage, I knew she was talking to me. There is a resonance that really can work and connect in your heart. And this is what made a difference. And the fact that, she would actually hug everybody, she would actually take pictures with people, she would actually know what to say when we were raising our hand to ask a question. I think that's what makes a difference. And that's what people remember. And that's what I remember. And that's why
Mm.
I kept coming back to you. So thank you for working through the interruptions with me. See, I am nervous. I was doing the live stream first time and with a dodgy network from Greece. You can perhaps hear the cicadas in the back, but thank you for your patience. And thank you, Margine, for carrying on answering the question while I was trying to figure out how to connect back. So absolutely, and the reason why I've got Margine here today is because, as we said, personally, and I decided to open up and say I'm nervous. When I contacted her, I was just back from Bosnia, and I said to her, look, my voice is blocked and I am concerned, because it's not just my physical voice that I was coughing like crazy, I couldn't speak, but I think it's my artistic voice that needs expression. And funnily enough, she said, Christina, I just launched a program which is about speaking, and it's about your voice. So we started chatting, and then before we knew it, we said, let's do a live together. But, I've seen Margine command stages internationally with so much gravitas. And what she was saying a moment ago, we didn't even plan it, the grounding effect that she had on people. It wasn't the person who's like, I'm going to tell you what to do, I'm going to teach you what you don't know. There wasn't any ego like that. It was that safe place she was creating. We're hundreds of people and we didn't know each other. And the last thing we wanted is to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and be there without any coffee and so on. Anyway, these are details,
Exactly.
but nevertheless, we didn't want to be there. But
Yeah.
she had that impact. And I just wanted to ask you, how did you develop that power? And you can say, well, maybe it was my drama background or whatever, but I know you've done a lot of work on that. So share with
Mm.
us a little bit about how did you come to that stage of being a nervous person in front of a live audience to actually commanding it with so much grace?
So I still get nervous when I go on stage. And I found that if I find a routine, I mean, and obviously the more you do something, the more masterful you become.
Mm,
I have over 12,000, over 15,000 hours on stage in front of audiences.
mhm,
So when you practice, when you get up, when you do the thing that you desire to do,
mm,
each time you learn something. And I
mm,
had to learn that very early on because I was leading the same course over and over and over again, right?
mhm,
And the first time I led that course, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And my audience was amazing. My students were amazing. My crew was amazing. Everything was amazing. And I thought, this is how it's going to be every single time.
mhm,
And that wasn't the truth. You know, there were some groups that had a different dynamic. So
mhm,
I really had to start learning how to listen,
mm,
learning how to tune into what am I feeling right now in this moment, learning how to super connect with um, whoever I'm talking with. And now I've gotten to the point because I've been training in the healing arts. I don't have to be in the same room to connect with somebody energetically. I can
mm,
talk to them on the phone. I can Zoom with them. I don't have to be physically in their presence in order to tune in and tap into their field
mm,
with permission, of course. But I had to practice. I had to get up and I had to do it over and over and over again. And utilizing my background in
mm,
the film industry. See, a lot of people don't come from the film industry to go onto stage. Some actors will get up and do, speaking engagements and things like that. But I wanted to take it to that place where I was actually teaching people, not just speaking to people, but
mm,
teaching them something valuable that they could take into their lives. So when I first started on stage, one of the greatest pieces of advice I ever got was from my audio engineer, my
mhm,
audio tech, because there were points in time where I had to tell stories and I would tell the stories. And he said to me, Margine, you're an actress. Like you can really embellish those stories and act those stories. And it's not going to sound weird or it's not going to be strange because you're trained to do that.
mm,
You're trained as an actor. And that just blew my whole world apart. It just blew my whole world apart. So I thought, oh, okay. So I can utilize where I've come from
yeah,
to channel into that energy into making a point on stage
mhm,
to giving people another perspective,
mhm,
right? So hopefully that answers the question. But a lot
Totally.
of it is practice, and a lot of it is listening. Like, are you listening to who you're speaking to? And this goes even farther than just being a speaker or a trainer or a presenter. This is something and a skill and a that can be utilized in every area.
Yeah.
Because I don't even care if you're a speaker or a trainer. You might just be the manager of a staff. Do you really listen? Do you
Mm.
hear them?
And
Right?
it's so counterintuitive. And I am in this industry in the last few years because of the work that I do. And no one really ever told me before that as a speaker, you need to listen to your audience because
Uh-huh.
technically, I mean, think about it, right? You're there to present, you're there to say something, you're there to show your knowledge, and you're there to teach. But actually, not only listen, you mentioned something really important about acting out your stories. It's about the presence. People see who you are. And anyway, I'm fascinated, guys, and that's a beautiful segue
Yeah.
to share with you that Margine is launching her Super Speakers program, and I know that she's super excited about it, and we talked about that. But I wanted to invite Margine to share with us what inspired you to actually do this now, and what will someone get out of this program that you have prepared. And
Yeah.
you can really see the floating bubble somewhere on the channels that we are sharing. So if you can't see it, then we will share absolutely the link later, but you can go to my
Yeah.
profile as well to find out there. And Margine, sorry, started
Yeah.
chatting.
No, 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 no. That's okay. During the last few years of world craziness, I really, and some of you may be able to relate to this, a lot of us went into spaces where we had to go internal and really, really sit with what's happening inside for me. And when I went in and I started digging through all those deep, dark places, right, I wasn't out there. I wasn't speaking. I wasn't talking. I wasn't teaching. And I was digging out kind of um, my own stuff, my own darkness, my own blocks, in order to get to a place where I'm like, where do I really want to be? Where do I want to focus my energy? What do I really want to contribute? And during this whole last few years, I've found that people are really like they have a lot to say. They want to speak. And I decided to take a course for myself through my master theta healer called Unveil Your Voice. And within that course, I thought, oh my gosh, this is something that I know up, down, right, left, side, front, backwards, everything. I know speaking. I know training. I know the presence it takes to be on the stage. And that was one of the things people used to always ask me is how do you do that? How do you do what you do? And I'm like, I practice it first of all. And like I said, I listen. And when you can stand on stage and just be quiet and pull your energy from inside out to be able to have people stop, because it's not always the loudest voice that's going to be the most powerful. And I learned that over time,
Mm,
screaming and screaming to get people to be quiet. Then I'd just stop and
mm,
just be quiet and
yeah.
get grounded, get
Mm,
centered, pull the energy that I have in, project it out,
mm.
and basically stop time.
Wow.
So when I went through unveiling my voice, I thought, what is it that I can teach that
Mm,
I've mastered? And being on stage and speaking in the trainer capacity is it, right? That's it. So I thought, what are some of the pitfalls that people fall into when they want to get their voice out?
yeah.
A, they don't know where to start. B, they might have material, but they don't know how to comprehensively put it together.
Mm-hmm.
C, they may not know how to put all of that together to weave it in to get the emotional points of where you're going to come at somebody and say, here's the information, but oh, wait, let me tell you a story
Huh.
about when I went through this moment in time
Mm. Mhm.
where I was battling somebody else's programming.
Mm.
I was moving through somebody else's stuff, and I had to go, "Wait a minute.
Mm.
Wait a minute." And being a hard hand, especially in the groups that we've been in, right? There's a lot of ego that can come out.
Yeah.
And when people want to share, they want to have the mic, they want their moment in time. But
Mm.
when you're the trainer and it's your space, it's like, wait a minute, I've got 300 other people here, and you don't get to monopolize their time.
Yeah.
So, how do you stop someone in their tracks but then turn it around and empower them
Yeah.
to say, Look, hey, I
Master
know,
skill, that one,
right?"
difficult one.
So it's like those are the things that I want to teach people.
Yeah.
Give you templates. This is the template. Here, fill in the blanks. And
Yeah.
now we're going to extract what's important to you to
Mhm.
be able to find what's important to you, what your particular gifts are, and how are you going to translate those gifts out into the world. And like I said, even if you don't wanna do your own trainings, even if you don't wanna
Mhm.
be speaking, where do you wanna be in your communication? Where do you wanna master your presence so that even if you walk into a room, people go, "Wait, who's that?
Who's this
Who
person?
just walked into the room?"
Mhm.
Because developing that develops a certain level of confidence. Not
Mhm.
ego, but confidence, an embodiment of, "This is what I know, and
Mm.
I know what I know."
Mhm.
And now I'm going to let others know what I know,
Yeah.
right?
And make it come from a place of love as well, because this is
Mhm.
what you give to people. And I've seen you command international stages where cultures are different as well. So Margine has been teaching in Spain, as well as I've seen her in Singapore, as I said,
Mhm.
obviously US and Malaysia as well. And the cultures are subtly different, but
Yeah.
being able to engage so many people whose language is not English as well, and sometimes translation that has its own challenges, but she does
Mm.
it beautifully. And I want to be joining this training of hers, and that's how we came about with the idea of let's do a
Yes.
live, because I want to attend your training. I've seen you do this, and I want to learn from you. So, guys, if we are in the same group together, that would be amazing. So please do check, the little link that's floating around out. Otherwise, I'm going to share it afterwards if you cannot find it on our channel. But I want to ask Margine, so you have organized the course in a
Mhm.
certain way, certain
Yes.
weeks, and I would like you to take us a little bit through it, short but
Yeah.
briefly. Tell us how it works.
Yeah. So how it's gonna work is that we're gonna have a jumpstart weekend. So before the course starts, we'll have 2 days where we're gonna do a jumpstart fast track through a program called Discover Your Sacred Gifts. And that sacred gifts process is going to get you honed in on these are what my gifts are. And this is how I'm going to utilize my energy and push it out there to the world. And
Hmm.
then for the next 6 weeks, we're going to take that and discover what's important to you to put out there as your voice. You might already have a book. You just need to put that book into script form to get it out there to be able to speak it. You might
Mm.
not have any material, but just a couple of ideas floating around. We're going to take all of that and in go in 3 different stages, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, to get you down to that point at that 6th week where it's lights, action, camera, it's ready. You're going to present your signature talk, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's 20 minutes, whether it's 5 minutes, because you can do a masterful, powerful speaking, um, you know, product in 5 minutes and captivate
Who's
people.
ready?
Yeah, and we're going to teach you how presence, and we're going to take you through some really fun exercises. And like I said, you're going to get all the templates, you're going to get all the tips, all the tricks, and then I might have a special guest or two also
Woohoo.
that
Awesome. So
also
we are
master
in for a
the
treat, guys, and I'm attending for sure. So I would love to see your faces there. I'm going to be learning alongside you. I have done some training on this, but I think Margine, what she brings is not the typical I stand on stage. Her skills can work on online formats, but also in smaller gathering
yeah.
formats, but also in, of course, stage.
Yeah.
format as well. And attention span is getting shorter and shorter. You might want to utilize some of that on TikTok style, delivery. So just get in and let's learn from each other. I was going to be mindful of time, but I would love to invite the audience to share any questions they may have, because we can see them. And Margine, especially, unless it's Greek, you can probably share it in English, and then she can understand and answer your question. But in the meanwhile, while you're typing your questions, I was going to say that if you made yourselves known in all the channels that we're broadcasting now, I will find you and I will say thank you, first of all, for joining us today. I know you had probably not really better, but many other things to be doing to prioritize us. So we are absolutely grateful for your time and your attention.
Grateful. Absolutely grateful.
But I will be sharing Margine's top 10 hacks on becoming a captivating and compelling speaker. It's a freebie, and it's 10 top hacks that when I saw and when she shared with me, I was like, I wish I knew that. And I wish somebody delivered it so easily for me to be able to understand and practice. So I will be sharing that with you. So make sure you get yourselves known. And we have a few questions coming through.
I don't know. I don't know why that Kickstarter campaign is like from 9 months ago or from 8 months ago. I was like, how is this still pinned to my page? I don't know how to get it off of there. So no, it's on Eventbrite. So
there's a different link which I will share on our chats on every channel we're broadcasting, but it's called the Super Speaker Program, and it should be floating somewhere. I don't know if you can see it, Margine, but it should be floating on most of my channels at least. But maybe after I reconnect it there anymore.
See it here. So
I will follow up with everyone and share the link for Eventbrite. So it's not Kickstarter, it's Eventbrite, and the prices start from $377. Was it $397?
$377. $377. Yep.
Yeah. So probably less in euros and less in pounds, the equivalent in terms of the number. But also you've got 3 different types of bandings, right? With different packages.
3 different options, 3 different packages. Yeah. So check the Eventbrite page. Yeah. Check the Eventbrite page. Thank you, Joan, for that notice there. I noticed it came up when I first said it, and I don't know how to take it off. So, Joan, I might need your help. Get that off of there. I don't know where it's at. Why? Why does it show up everywhere? But yes, you've got 3 different options. There she goes. There. That's my gift of administration right there. That lady right there has the gift of administration. She's like, here, I got it for you. Not a problem. Here it is.
Thank you, Joanne. I just shared it as well. It's the Super Speaker Program page stage. So it's on the chat right now, but I will share it with everyone as well.
Yeah. So there's 3 different levels. They can come in just as, for the 6 weeks of the program. That's that 377 level. And then they go up to the 577 level. And that includes one-on-one coaching session. And then the 777 level includes a coaching session and 6 weeks of follow-up after the initial 6 weeks. So it's a full 12 weeks, because what we're going to do in that first 6 weeks and then that next 6 weeks after that is we're going to refine it. We're going to hone it. We're going to practice. We're going to practice. We're going to practice. We're going to practice, then get feedback, make the tweaks, and then come back and really refine it and hone it and get it down so that it's solid, so that there's no doubt in your mind that you can take a speaking engagement or put that out online or record it and have an exquisite and amazing set product immediately.
And I would know which one to go for right away. So Margine, get ready. So guys, please join me as well. I'm joining the same program as well. I got so excited. I wanted to share it with my demons here. We have shared the link, so if you cannot see it yet on the chats, please let me know. Do you have any other questions? Did we miss any questions from the chat, Margine? I don't know if
you know what. Let's see.
Scroll up.
And there is there are dates already on there, but once everybody gets registered, we're going to go through, we'll have a meeting, I'll send out a survey to make sure that the dates actually work, because I can alter and change dates. When you create an event, you have to obviously put a date on there. So the way in which Eventbrite kind of works is because it's over multiple days, it looks like you can sign up for one day and not the next, but
No,
you're
it's all
taking
the
all
days
6
that
weeks. It's all days. It's all 6
all the
weeks.
dates that Margine has there, that you have to attend in order to be able to get the full curriculum of
Yes.
foundation
Yeah.
for the speakers program. But then Margine will add and, of course, hone in with you, and you will have her full attention on the one-to-ones, the coaching, so that you can go into the depths that you want with the product. Because people will be on different maturity levels, right? As well, some people are just
Yeah.
starting. Some people, like myself, I have been doing this for a long time, but I want to give it a different depth. And being able to do that on stage, but also being able to do that online, is a different skill set that's required. So I want to refine my own, but also would
Yeah.
like to share that with my Udemons out there as well. And I've been seeing that there's a few familiar faces joining, so I will definitely share with you the PDF, guys. So please keep making
Yes,
yourselves
absolutely.
known on the chat. Say hi, say where you're joining from. If you have any questions for Margine while we have her here, and then of course, she won't go away. You can connect with her on LinkedIn, on Facebook, but also on Instagram and
Mhm.
TikTok and Twitter as well. You
No,
ever?
not TikTok. I don't do the TikTok
Not
thing yet.
yet. Soon
I'm
to
like,
come.
I I'm kinda old school, so I'm like,
I'm a
geez, like,
TikTok
trying to
virgin myself.
oh my god, trying to keep up with all these new platforms, I'm like, "Look, like, it's gonna be a post over here, and then if I can share it through that post to the others, that's what's gonna happen," because
Exactly.
someone's like,
Exactly.
"Oh, you gotta make TikTok videos." I'm like, "Yeah, no,
Not yet. Not yet.
not yet,
Come on. Come on.
not
Oh,
yet," you know? My daughter just pushed me into Snapchat because she got tired of text messaging me.
I
So what
feel
does
her.
she do
I
on
feel
Snapchat? She text messages me.
Wow. I was like, well,
It's like, "Really? Okay."
I'm
But
there.
so now I get to send her funny pictures, so anyways. Yes, so hi, Pops, I wasn't ignoring you, I did see you there. Beso, thank you so much. Yes, thank you, I appreciate that comment. I appreciate that so, so much. Um,
Everyone. Oh,
and there was
somebody's
an
showing up. This is
Adriana there,
ah.
and a Christina and Willie. Hi,
Hi
Willie.
now. I'm very shy.
Eleanor. You guys might not still be there, but hello. Hi, Sherry. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us.
Cool.
Hello
All
from
right. So I
Greece.
will follow
Hi,
up with
Ryan.
everyone who has
Awesome.
joined. Adriana, we can perhaps get Margine to share with us later on because I'm shy now. So
She's shy. Oh, should we put her on the spot? Here's one of those. Here's one. Here is a great speaker practice
Ooh.
because
As a
yes,
coach as well, so she's
mhm,
definitely putting me on the spot to empower
yes.
me.
I will present it. Martin, what do you believe are Christina's top strengths
Oh
as a
gosh.
speaker? Love to hear from you. Okay, so here's one of the things that when you ask a question like that, I'm going to revert this back to Christina first. Okay, this is part of the process. Okay, so Christina, what do you feel are some of your greatest strengths as a speaker?
Ooh, I am definitely a storyteller. Um,
Hmm.
when I do have a story, I love to share it. I do believe that I listen. I definitely listen, and I didn't know that was a um, superpower in terms of speaking and presenting. And I definitely have been on the wrong side, shall we say, when, especially early in my career as a speaker, I thought I had to know what I'm going to say. I needed to have a script and I needed to just deliver on that script no matter what. So definitely, I have learned down the line that being present, as you mentioned, and being able to feel where the audience is and just deliver what they want to hear and where they are and meet them there is an important one. I don't claim I have, mastered it, but definitely on my way there. And I believe that I don't know, maybe a third one. I feel like there is a third one, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It will come to me. I will share later.
Yeah. So one of the things that I will share with you all about working with Christina is that she's when we started working on coaching some spiritual aspects, right? She would always say to me, "I'm so new to this. I'm so new to this. I'm so new to this," right? But one of the things that really stands out to me about Christina is that She's like, "I don't understand what this is, but I'm going to verbalize it anyways." Because she's got this ability to take information in, stay in a space of being curious about the information, and then speaking the information out and allowing herself time to let that information land, to let that information evolve, let that information present, whether it's the lesson that needs to be learned or the information that she can take and give back out, right? So it's been this really beautiful journey to have her to ask her questions like that, and she'll sit and she'll listen to what's happening internally for her,
Mm,
and then she'll verbalize it. And that is a very, very powerful place to be, because when you're working with others, like you said, that listening is going to be a key in setting you apart from every other speaker, every other trainer, every other presenter.
mhm.
That is key.
Well, I definitely didn't know that. And thanks to Adriana, we figured out
Mhm.
that this is a thing to have. So thank you so much, Adriana, for your question. As a
Yeah.
beautiful coach you are too. Adriana is such a um, caring, kind. So
Mm.
he's also Greek Japanese, so we are Japanese
Oh, beautiful.
soul sisters. And yeah, it's a joy to have her here with us today. And Kalfa is her Greek surname, and Ubunuki is her Japanese surname. And we have a similar name in Japanese
Mm.
as well. Our mothers have named us
Beautiful.
the same name. But I didn't know that. And you are absolutely right. I am sitting with my nervousness most of the time, and I am okay with it. And I think Adriana and the audience will resonate with the Zen concept called Shoshin, which is
Mhm.
beginner's mind. It's being able to always be in a place as a newbie and be as a student and be able to open up ourselves to learn, even if we've been there many, many times before. And it takes presence, and it
Mm.
takes listening, and it takes being
Yeah.
okay with making a mistake as well. And as you've seen today, it took some time for the stream to sort itself out with connection, but everyone supported and was very,
Yeah.
very helpful to help us get through to the end. So thank you, Adriana, and thank you, Margine, for
You're
being
welcome.
on the
Thank
spot.
you.
And still, I'm gonna reveal more aspects of my speaking through the course. Whoever joins us, I'm gonna be on the course as well. Margine will be leading it, and say hello on the chat so that I am able to share Margine's top 10 hacks to becoming a compelling and captivating speaker. And of course, if you've got any questions regarding the course that's starting in mid-September, or we can be flexible with dates, said
Yeah,
Margine.
yes.
So let's figure
Yeah.
it out. Let me know. And then, of course, I will channel through any questions to Margine if I'm not sure how to help you or answer. But thank you so much, Margine, for being
You are
here,
so welcome.
connecting with us from the other side of the world,
Mhm.
beautiful other side of the world.
Yes.
Um, and I know it's everyone's Sunday, and thank you for supporting
Yes,
us through
thank
our
you.
channels. Margine, you have been sensational. People
Thank
enjoyed your story, your background, the way you succinctly distilled your experiences and what you do on stage and what you bring to me, as a student of yours and as a partner of yours, in this. And, the audience's positive energy and support throughout some of our hiccups here as we were
you.
doing
Yes.
this for the first time. Thank you, everyone. We will complete and conclude this live, but I will share, if you got any questions, let me know. Of course, I will share everything that we promised in the next few minutes or hours throughout all the
Thank
channels.
you, thank you, thank you all. Thank you,
Thank you.
Marcus. Thank you, Beso. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing Sunday, and we will see you all from the page to the stage.
Speakers program.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye.